He laughed, right there in the boardroom, cutting her
You think
off
that's
with a
how this
smirk.
works?
Stay
You
quiet,
think that's how this
Amara.
works?
You wouldn't
It's
understand
exactly
this
how this
level.
works.
The room followed his lead, low chuckles, eyes sliding past her like she didn't exist, and she just sat there, still, composed, hands folded over a file no one noticed. Because for years she had learned to swallow every insult, every dismissal, every moment he turned her into decoration instead of a wife. But today something shifted, not in her face, not in her voice, but in the silence she chose to keep, because while he kept talking, confident, untouchable, the truth was already moving, already uploading, already landing in every board member's inbox. And the moment the first phone lit up, the laughter stopped, eyes changed, screens turned toward him, and Ethan's smile faltered for the first time as he realized too late. She had never been quiet. She had been waiting, and what the board just received was only the beginning of everything that was about to destroy him. The room did not recover after she walked out. Screens stayed lit. Numbers kept blinking red across every device. Ethan tried to speak, but no one listened now. One board member closed his laptop with a sharp snap. Another asked for legal to join immediately. Within minutes, trading alerts started flashing across internal systems. A pending deal stalled without explanation. The projections no longer aligned with reported revenue. Someone whispered the word audit, and it spread fast. Ethan's assistant stepped closer, voice low, almost careful. She said the compliance team had already flagged discrepancies last quarter. She said Amara was the one who resolved them quietly. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Across the table, a senior director scrolled through the files again. His expression shifted from doubt to concern. He asked who had access to these systems. Silence followed, heavy and uncomfortable. Then another voice answered, not looking at Ethan. Amara had full access, always had. A pause stretched longer than it should. Someone else added that she built the internal tracking model herself. The same model now exposing everything. Ethan felt it then, not anger, not yet, but something colder. The room no longer moved around him. It moved around her absence. Another alert hit the screen. A partner company requested clarification on missing funds. The legal team entered, already briefed. Questions came faster now, sharper, harder to deflect. Ethan reached for control, but every answer led back to her. Every system traced to her work. Every safeguard she built was now unraveling without her there. And then his assistant said one more thing, quietly. She said there was one file no one could open. It required Amara's authorization alone. The room froze again, but this time not from shock, from realization. If that file opened, everything would be confirmed. And if it did not, nothing could be fixed. Ethan stared at the screen, breathing slower now, because for the first time he understood the truth was not what she sent, it was what she still had, and the question that settled over every seat was simple and terrifying. What exactly did Amara choose not to reveal yet? 3 days later, she walked into a glass office downtown. No cameras, no whispers, just a quiet room and a long table. A senior partner stood up when she entered. He shook her hand first, not last. He said they had been waiting for her response. Amara did not rush. She sat down like she belonged there. They handed her a proposal, not a question. A restructuring contract for a mid-sized firm. The same type Ethan once said she could not handle. She read it once, then closed the folder. She asked 3 questions. Each one hit a problem they missed. The room shifted after that. People leaned forward. One analyst stopped typing and just listened. Another asked if she could lead the review directly. No one laughed this time. No one interrupted her voice. By the end of the meeting, the offer doubled. Not because she asked, but because they understood her value. Outside, her phone buzzed again. Messages from numbers she did not save. Investors. Legal teams. Even one board member from Ethan's company. They were not asking about him anymore. They were asking about her. Back across town, Ethan stood in his office alone. Reports stacked higher than before. Systems still unstable without her input. His assistant spoke carefully again. She said another partner refused to proceed without Amara's confirmation. He did not respond right away. He just stared at the city like it changed shape overnight. For the first time, her name was said in rooms without him. And it carried weight. Not as his wife. Not as a shadow. But as the one who understood everything they were now losing control over. That thought did not sit right with him. Not yet. But it stayed. And when his phone finally lit up with a direct request from the board, asking him to bring Amara back before they made a final decision. He realized something he could not ignore anymore. If she walked into that room again, it would not be as his wife. So what exactly would she become when everyone else finally saw her first? The board did not wait for him this time. They scheduled the meeting without asking. A neutral office. No company branding on the walls. When Ethan walked in, he saw her already seated. Not beside him. Across from him. Two legal advisors sat near her, not him. That was the first shift. No one introduced her as his wife. They used her full name. Amara Brooks. Independent consultant. Ethan paused longer than he should. She did not look up right away. She finished reviewing a page first. Then she closed the folder slowly. That small delay landed harder than any words. He pulled out his chair, but it felt different now. Smaller somehow. The chairman spoke first. He asked Amara to walk them through the findings. Not Ethan. Not the CEO. Her. She nodded once and began. Clear. Direct. No emotion in her tone. Every sentence connected to a number. Every number tied to a decision. People took notes. People leaned in. No one checked their phones. Ethan tried to interrupt once. Just once. She did not raise her voice. She simply continued speaking over him. Calm. Steady. And no one stopped her. That was the moment it broke. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just gone. His control. His rhythm. His place in the room. One of the directors asked her a follow-up question. He addressed her with respect. Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Ethan had never heard that tone used for her before. Not once. She answered without looking at him. Then she slid another document across the table. This one was different. Thicker. Sealed. She did not open it. She let it sit there between them. The chairman looked at Ethan, then back at her. He asked if this was everything. She shook her head slightly. Not everything. The room went still again. Ethan leaned forward now. Not confident. Not relaxed. Something closer to unsure. He asked her directly what was in the file. She finally looked at him. Not with anger. Not with pain. Just distance. Then she said one line. You already had access to it. You just never looked. That landed deeper than anything else. Because he knew it was true. He had ignored it. Ignored her. Ignored every warning she never forced him to hear. A legal advisor reached for the file, but she stopped him with one hand. Not yet. That was new too. She set the pace now. She controlled when truth moved. The chairman nodded, accepting it without question. That would never have happened before. Ethan sat back slowly. For the first time, he was not thinking about saving the company. He was thinking about something else. What else had she seen? What else had she chosen not to say? And why did it feel like the next thing she revealed would not just cost him the company, but something he could never rebuild again? The meeting did not end when she stopped speaking. It shifted around her. The chairman asked her to stay after. Not him. Not the CEO. Her. That alone changed everything in the room. Ethan stood, but no one followed him out. He paused at the door, waiting for someone. No one looked up. Inside, Amara remained seated, calm and focused. The legal team moved closer to her side. They asked her to walk through the second layer. She opened a tablet this time, not the sealed file. A dashboard appeared. Clean. Precise. Built for control. She explained how funds were redirected, then stabilized. She showed where losses were hidden, then corrected. Every line pointed back to systems she designed. One director leaned back slowly, impressed without hiding it. He said this should have been implemented company-wide. Another asked who approved her authority to build it. Silence followed again. Then the chairman answered. She did not need approval. That was new. That was final. Outside, Ethan checked his phone again. 3 missed calls from investors. 2 messages from legal. 1 from a partner pulling out of a deal. His assistant approached, voice tight this time. She said internal teams could not access key systems anymore. Permissions were locked. Only one administrator remained active. He did not need to ask who. Back inside, a junior analyst whispered to another. She said Amara had been fixing issues. For years. Quietly. Without credit. The other nodded slowly, like something finally made sense. When Amara stood, the room adjusted with her. Chairs shifted. Eyes followed. Respect was no longer optional. It was visible. The chairman asked if she would consider leading the recovery process. Not assisting. Leading. She did not answer right away. She gathered her things first. That small pause made them wait. Ethan saw it through the glass wall. He saw people waiting on her decision. Not his. That image stayed longer than it should. When she finally spoke, Her voice was even. She said she would review the terms. Not accept. Not decline. Control stayed with her. As she walked out, one board member held the door open. The same man who laughed days ago. He did not meet her eyes now. Ethan stepped forward then, trying to close the distance. He called her name once. She stopped, but did not turn fully. Just enough to hear him. He asked one question, quieter than before. What else is in that file? She looked at him for a moment, steady and unreadable. Then she said something that did not sound like a warning, but felt like one. The part you chose not to see. And this time, he understood it was not about numbers anymore. It was about something deeper, something older, something he had ignored long before the company started to fall. And if that truth came out next, there would be nothing left for him to control. He did not go home that night. He stayed in his office alone. The city lights looked colder than before. He opened old reports, searching for something familiar. Numbers he once trusted now felt unstable. He pulled up the first major deal he ever closed. The one that made his name. The margins were too clean. Too perfect. He scrolled deeper into the archived notes. A small tag appeared in the corner. Internal review by A. Brooks. He paused longer this time. He opened the attached file slowly. It was her work, not his. She had flagged 3 risks before the deal closed. She had adjusted projections quietly. She had rerouted exposure before it became loss. He leaned back, staring at the screen. That deal was not his win. It was her correction. His phone buzzed again, but he ignored it. He opened another file. Then another. The same pattern repeated. Her name was there, hidden in metadata. Not credited. Not visible. But present every time something worked. He stood up, restless now. He walked to the glass wall, then back again. His breathing changed, slower but uneven. This was not one mistake. This was a system built around her. He just never saw it. A soft knock came from the door. His assistant stepped in carefully. She held a printed document this time. She said the auditors confirmed something important. Every stabilized quarter over the past 5 years traced back to Amara's internal overrides. Not his decisions. Not his strategy. Hers. That landed heavier than anything before. He took the paper but did not read it fully. He did not need to. He already knew enough. The version of himself he believed in started to slip. Outside, a board member spoke quietly on the phone. He said they could not proceed without her anymore. He said it clearly, without hesitation. Ethan heard it through the open door. That sentence stayed with him. Not proceed without her. He repeated it once under his breath. The company was not just affected by her absence. It depended on her presence. That changed everything. He sat down again, but the chair felt unfamiliar now. Smaller. Less certain. He looked at the sealed file image in his mind. The one she refused to open. If everything he built leaned on what she fixed, then what was inside that file? Not numbers. Something older. Something personal. Something he chose not to see long before business was involved. He reached for his phone again, this time not to check messages. He searched for her contact, but his finger stopped just above the screen. Because for the first time, he did not know how to speak to her anymore. Not as a husband. Not as a CEO. Just as someone who finally understood he had been wrong from the beginning. And if he faced her now, it would not be to take control. It would be to ask for something he might no longer deserve. And the question that followed him into that moment was simple, but impossible to ignore. What exactly did he take from her that was never his to begin with? He did not wait for another meeting. He drove straight to her office. No appointment. No call ahead. That alone felt wrong already. The receptionist stopped him before he reached the elevator. She asked his name, calm and professional. He gave it, expecting recognition, expecting access. She nodded, then asked him to wait. That word hit harder than it should. Wait. He had never waited for her before. Minutes passed slower than they should. People walked by, some glanced at him briefly. No one stopped. No one greeted him like before. Then the elevator opened, and she stepped out. Not rushed. Not surprised. Just steady. She saw him immediately, but did not change pace. He moved toward her first, faster than he meant to. Amara, we need to talk. His voice was tighter now. Not controlled like before. She stopped a few feet away, not closer. Her assistant stepped slightly beside her. Not blocking, just present. That small detail changed everything. He noticed it. He hated that he noticed it. I know what you did, he said. I saw the files. I did not know. The words came out uneven. She listened, but her face did not shift. Not anger. Not relief. Just distance again. You did not look, she said quietly. Not the same thing. He took another step forward. She did not step back. But she did not close the space either. That line stayed between them. I can fix this, he added quickly. We can fix this together. The old language. The old control. It did not land the same now. Her assistant spoke this time, calm but firm. Ms. Brooks has another meeting scheduled. That name again. Not wife. Not Amara alone. Ms. Brooks. He looked at her, searching for something familiar. Something that still belonged to him. He did not find it. Just a version of her he never knew. You built all of this, he said. You never told me. That sounded closer to accusation than regret. She tilted her head slightly. I tried, she answered. You laughed. That landed clean. No emotion, just fact. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. For the first time, silence was not hers. It was his. A few people nearby slowed down, watching without hiding it. Not gossip. Something else. Recognition. Respect. They were watching her, not him. That shift was impossible to ignore now. He lowered his voice, almost careful. Just tell me what is in that file. She looked at him one more time. Not long. Just enough. Then she said, you are not asking the right question. She turned before he could respond. Walked past him without hesitation. No pause. No glance back. The assistant followed beside her, already discussing the next meeting. He stood there, still, in a space that no longer moved for him. And as the elevator doors closed on her reflection, the one thing he understood too late was this. He was not trying to win her back anymore. He was trying to understand how much of his life had never really been his, and what she was about to reveal next would not give him control. It would take away the last piece he still believed he owned. He did not wait for another meeting. He drove straight to her office. No appointment. No call ahead. That alone felt wrong already. The receptionist stopped him before he reached the elevator. She asked his name, calm and professional. He gave it, expecting recognition, expecting access. She nodded, then asked him to wait. That word hit harder than it should. Wait. He had never waited for her before. Minutes passed slower than they should. People walked by, some glanced at him briefly. No one stopped. No one greeted him like before. Then the elevator opened, and she stepped out. Not rushed. Not surprised. Just steady. She saw him immediately, but did not change pace. He moved toward her first, faster than he meant to. Amara, we need to talk. His voice was tighter now. Not controlled like before. She stopped a few feet away, not closer. Her assistant stepped slightly beside her. Not blocking, just present. That small detail changed everything. He noticed it. He hated that he noticed it. I know what you did, he said. I saw the files. I did not know. The words came out uneven. She listened, but her face did not shift. Not anger. Not relief. Just distance again. You did not look, she said quietly. Not the same thing. He took another step forward. She did not step back. But she did not close the space either. That line stayed between them. I can fix this, he added quickly. We can fix this together. The old language. The old control. It did not land the same now. Her assistant spoke this time, calm but firm. Ms. Brooks has another meeting scheduled. That name again. Not wife. Not Amara alone. Ms. Brooks. He looked at her, searching for something familiar. Something that still belonged to him. He did not find it. Just a version of her he never knew. You built all of this, he said. You never told me. That sounded closer to accusation than regret. She tilted her head slightly. I tried, she answered. You laughed. That landed clean. No emotion, just fact. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. For the first time, silence was not hers. It was his. A few people nearby slowed down, watching without hiding it. Not gossip. Something else. Recognition. Respect. They were watching her, not him. That shift was impossible to ignore now. He lowered his voice, almost careful. Just tell me what is in that file. She looked at him one more time. Not long. Just enough. Then she said, you are not asking the right question. She turned before he could respond. Walked past him without hesitation. No pause. No glance back. The assistant followed beside her, already discussing the next meeting. He stood there, still, in a space that no longer moved for him. And as the elevator doors closed on her reflection, the one thing he understood too late was this. He was not trying to win her back anymore. He was trying to understand how much of his life had never really been his, and what she was about to reveal next would not give him control. It would take away the last piece he still believed he owned. He found her before the board did. Not in a meeting room. Not in an office. A quiet terrace above the city, late evening light. She stood near the edge, reviewing something on her tablet. No rush. No pressure. He stepped closer, slower this time. No demand in his voice now. Just wait. Amara, we need to finish this. She did not turn immediately. She closed the tablet first. Then she faced him, calm as ever. There was no space for interruption here. Not anymore. He exhaled, steady but strained. I know now. Everything. The deals. The systems. The corrections. You built all of it. He paused, searching her face for something. Anything. You carried this company while I took credit. The words came out heavier than expected. She did not react to the apology hidden inside. Not relief. Not anger. Just stillness. You did not take it, she said quietly. You ignored it. That landed sharper than blame. He nodded once, almost to himself. I was wrong. Not just about the company. About you. That part stayed in the air longer. She held his gaze, but there was no connection left. Just recognition of what used to be. I thought I knew who you were. He continued, voice lower now. I thought you needed me. A small pause followed. Then she answered, simple and clear. I never needed you. I chose to stay. That shifted everything in that moment. Not anger. Not revenge. Just truth placed between them. He stepped closer, but stopped himself halfway. Like he finally understood distance mattered now. Then tell me what is in the file. His voice almost careful again. Not demanding. Asking. She looked at him for a long second. Then she said it. It is not about the company. That was the first crack of something deeper. He frowned slightly, confused for the first time. Then what is it? She took a breath. Not heavy, just final. It is about what you erased. That word stayed. Erased. He felt it before he understood it. Your first expansion. She continued, steady. The one you built your reputation on. He nodded slowly. That deal made him who he was. It almost failed, she added. You remember that part. He did. The risk. The pressure. The overnight recovery. You think you saved it. She said calmly. He frowned again, tension rising. I did. That is what the report said. She shook her head once. No. That was the version you accepted. Silence stretched between them. Then she said the one thing that closed every door. I saved it. But you removed my name. He froze. Completely still. Because he did not remember doing it. Which meant something worse. He never checked. He never asked. He just let it disappear. You erased me before the company ever did. That was the truth. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just complete. He looked at her now like he was seeing someone new. Not his wife. Not his past. Someone he had built success on without knowing. I did not know, he said, barely above a whisper. She nodded once. I know. That was the end of it. Not forgiveness. Not anger. Just closure placed in a single sentence. The distance between them became final. There was no way back through it. No version where this returned to before. He stood there, still trying to hold something that no longer existed. And she turned away again, not to leave him behind, but because she already had, and as she stepped toward the exit, she said one last thing without looking back. The file is not for you. It never was. It is for the people who are about to decide what happens next, and when they open it, you will finally see what it cost me to stay silent this whole time.